Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the next podcast, Lovecast, that I'm doing here for you guys. This is Kelly from House of Virgo. This is going to be your next topic in the love attachment style series that I'm doing. This will be the final one for now, unless there's more I might want to do. We're taking a look at the secure attachment style. So I'll just give you guys a moment to pop in the chat here, and we'll have a little chit chat about that, see what's going on. If you are able to hear me, please do give me a thumbs up here in the stream, just so I can make sure that everything is... Hello, everyone. Welcome to your Lovecast podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. This is going to be today's topic. We're talking about the secure attachment style in relationships. So if you could give me a quick thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me okay, so we can get started. Great. So over the week, we've been looking at we looked at the last two attachment styles, which were the avoidant attachment style, and then we looked on Wednesday at the anxious attachment style. And I'll post links in the comment after the video is over if you need to go back and listen to those. Today we're going to talk about the secure attached love style in relationships. So a brief summary: the avoidant and the anxious had one main thing in common, and that had to do with their fear of abandonment issues, fear of rejection. And these are great fears. These are extreme great fears, where the avoidant won't get too close, won't open up, be openly vulnerable with their partner, because there's a great fear that if they get close and open up, then they become a target for hurt, pain, rejection, and abandonment. So they will do what we call deactivating strategies. They will find ways to not get close. They'll put obstacles in the path to progress. Yet they won't leave the relationship fully. They will want to stay connected. The anxious, on the other hand, while having the same type of fear of rejection and abandonment, will actually do everything they can to secure the relationship to avoid that happening. Okay, so over texting, over investing, obsessive thinking. Now, there's a few other things attached to these attachment styles. There's, I believe, the fearful avoidant. There's also the fearful anxious attached. There's also the dismissive. There's a lot more that's involved in it, but I just wanted to touch on those first two things. And as you listen, you can try to identify if you have either one of those attachment styles. And once you learn about and identify which attachment style you may have, then you could begin the path of healing to become more secure. So whether you're avoidant or anxiously attached, we want to become more securely attached within ourselves and within relationships. So today we're going to take a look at the securely attached. And I have a book that I am referencing from called Attached by Amir Levine. There's a picture there that you can search for the book. It's anywhere. I'm not getting any commission or anything from this book. I just find it to be a valuable tool to use if you are struggling or in a runner chaser type of twin flame or soulmate. It's generally not a soulmate thing, but type of twin flame difficulty type of relationship. And it's really just another piece of the pie, right? So let's just get into the securely attached. So I'll reference some things from the book that I have here. Securely attached people are very centered. So they're not really, they don't have a fear of becoming open. They don't run away. And securely attached people don't chase either. So they're somewhere right there in the middle. They're quite centered, you know. They're stable. They're quite grounded. They're confident within themselves. They don't over worry. They don't have an excessive need to be one way or the other. They just kind of stand still where they are, and they feel secure within themselves. And, you know, what makes people like this? Sometimes people tend to think that securely attached people might be quite boring. There's no drama with securely attached people. There's no drama. The relationship is quite smooth generally. You know, it's not too far left, not too far right. It's not too high, not too low. There's a nice temperance. It's well tempered. This type of attachment style. So avoidance and anxiously attached people don't generally get into relationships with securely attached people, not because of anything other than there's a need that doesn't really get met. Anxiously attached and avoidant types usually are with each other. They usually find each other. But securely attached people can be in relationships with anxious or avoidant types, right? Because securely attached people don't really get swayed one way or the other. An anxious person could be in a relationship with someone who's steady and stable and may think that they could be a bit avoidant. And an avoidant person could be involved with a secure person and may think that they are not chasing after them enough. You know, an avoidant wants that. An avoidant wants that person to chase when the avoidant pulls away. But when the avoidant comes back, the avoidant doesn't want the anxious to chase. So let's get into it a little bit more here. There's very little drama, as I said, in a romantic relationship with a securely attached person. So like I said, there's no highs and lows. There's no yo-yos, no roller coasters or anything like that. So basically, it's calm. It's a calm connection. Okay. If you're anxiously attached, you might require that or need that, and you should be involved more so with someone who's more secure if you're anxiously attached. But I will say that you're going to learn a lot. You definitely would learn a lot to be involved with people like that. Securely attached people, like their emotional system doesn't get too riled up in the face of any kind of threat, like how the anxious would feel, but doesn't get shut down either, as the avoidant is. Okay. Securely attached people don't generally go to seek help, but then they generally don't not go to seek help in their relationships. Anxious attached people generally always do, and avoidants typically don't. Okay. So secure individuals, people with the secure attachment style, maintain high levels of relationship satisfaction, commitment, and trust. Where insecure types report decreasing levels of all three over a particular amount of time. There is an interesting thing here in this book that talks about what happens when the securely attached and the insecurely attached interact. They can function very well. So if you're anxious attached or you're avoidant, you can function well with someone who's securely attached and vice versa. But there will be at times, it'll definitely be a growth process, because whether you're avoidant or or anxiously attached, there's something about a secure person that gives you a sense of safety and trust. And I feel like the goal here for everybody who is coming from or has developed an insecure attachment is to try to get more secure. And that's really why I'm making these podcasts, because I think that's really important. So here's some things about the secure attached style, and you can see if this is something that you identify with. So securely attached people are great conflict busters. During a fight, they don't feel the need to act defensively or to injure or punish their partner. And so they prevent any situation from escalating. Okay? They're mentally flexible. They're not threatened by criticism. They're willing to reconsider their ways and, if necessary, revise their beliefs and strategies. Securely attached people are effective communicators. They expect others to be understanding and responsive. So expressing their feelings freely and accurately to their partners comes naturally to them. Okay, so they don't have that fear that they're going to be rejected if they express how they feel, or they tell the other person, or that the person's going to run away or leave them. Securely attached people don't play games. They're not game players. They want closeness, and they believe others want the same. So why would they have a need to play any kind of games with anyone? They're comfortable with closeness, and they're unconcerned about boundaries. So what that means is they seek intimacy, and they aren't afraid of being enmeshed. Because they aren't overwhelmed by a fear of being slighted, as anxiously attached are, or the need to deactivate or run away, as the avoidants are, they find it easy to enjoy closeness, whether physical or emotional. Securely attached people are quick to forgive. They assume their partner's intentions are good and therefore likely to forgive them when they do something harmful. Okay? Securely attached people are inclined to view sex and emotional intimacy as one. They don't need to create distance by separating the two, which is by being close either emotionally or sexually, but not both. They can be emotionally attached and sexually attached at the same time. They treat their partners like royalty, and with loyalty. When you become part of their inner circle, they treat you with love and respect. Securely attached people are secure in their power to improve the relationship. They are confident in their positive beliefs about themselves and others, which makes this assumption logical. They feel responsible for their partner's well-being. They expect others to be responsive and loving toward them, and so they are responsive to the other person's needs, to their partner's needs. Many people who live with insecure partners cannot even begin to imagine how fundamentally different life with a secure person can be. For starters, they don't engage in the relationship dance, where one partner gets closer while the other steps back in order to maintain a certain distance in the relationship at all times. And that is the dance of the anxious and the avoidant. That is the runner-chaser dance. Okay? Instead, there's a feeling of growing closeness and intimacy. Second, they are able to sensitively and empathically, and most important, coherently discuss their emotions with you. Last, the secure party engulfs his or her partner in an emotionally protective shield that makes facing the outside world an easier task. Just imagine how scary that could feel for someone who is anxiously or avoidantly attached. It's interesting. It's such an oxymoron to say avoidant attachment style. But understand that they're still attached. They're just very avoidant in the relationship. But imagine how scary the fear, the overwhelming fear that someone who is anxious would feel about opening up and sharing all of their demons and getting emotionally close, even though they want that. The fear of being abandoned or judged or rejected, and the same for the avoidant. How difficult that must be, to find someone and, be able to open and tell all of your inner stuff, your gluey, gooey gut stuff too, and then be faced with the task of being rejected or criticized for things like that, because that is something that happened to both of the insecure attached styles. They both somewhere in their life faced harsh criticism. They were given the message that it's not safe to connect with others or to attach. And some want it so much that they will even tend to attach themselves to people that are unsafe, right? So it's a scarier thing. It could be very scary, and it's a difficult road, but it can be done. Healing can happen, absolutely. It's no coincidence that the people most appreciative of a secure relationship are those who've had relationships with both secure and insecure partners. Though these people will tell you that secure and insecure relationships are worlds apart, without the knowledge of attachment theory, they too are unable to put their finger on what exactly the difference is. Okay? So, there's ways to become secure within self, but I feel like if you have an anxious or avoidant attachment style, it's really just a matter of relearning, starting your life over in relationships and applying different things, different strategies. Because if you're someone who's suffered in relationships, or you've had a lot of relationships that never really panned out and just keep cycling, you keep recycling, it's really just about changing strategies and changing the way you do things in your relationships. Because whether you're avoidant or anxiously attached, there's a tremendous amount of suffrage that comes with that. And those things that you've done in the past, it's time really to change them, is how I feel it's going on here. So tapping into the secure mindset. And so the goal is for you to become secure within yourself. It's not for you to make your partner secure. Generally, when you become secure within yourself, the people around you will begin to notice that they will begin to feel safe with you, okay? Whether you're avoidant or anxious. When you become secure, the people around you will begin to notice that it's safe to be around you. They'll notice that if they say something, they're not walking on eggshells with you. They'll notice that you're not going to blow up. You'll not be hypersensitive to things. They'll also notice that you're not going to run away or walk away from them when they try to talk to you, okay? Wherever you fall in the spectrum of insecurity. So one of the most important roles we play in our partners' lives is providing a secure base, creating the conditions that enable our partners to pursue their interests and explore the world in confidence. You can provide a secure base by becoming secure within yourself. And what that looks like is becoming more available, or just being available. Responding sensitively to your partner's distress, allowing them to be dependent on you when they feel the need, checking in with them from time to time, and providing comfort when things go wrong. Also, don't interfere. Provide behind-the-scenes support for your partner's endeavors. Help in a way that leaves them with the initiative and the feeling of power. Allow them to do their own thing without trying to take over the situation, micromanage, or undermine their confidence and abilities. Provide encouragement, and be accepting of their learning and personal growth goals. Boost their self-esteem. And also, you guys, this isn't just in romantic relationships. This is just in relationships in general. Okay, this could be with siblings. This could be with family members, friends, colleagues. like, and also romantic partners. It's to become secure across the board within yourself. Okay. Does this mean that secures are immune to relationship problems? No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, everybody's human and everybody has emotions and thoughts. Okay. So when you're becoming more secure within yourself, you will begin to identify people who have insecure attachment styles. It's kind of hard to see it when you're not feeling secure within self. When you begin to feel secure within yourself and you feel more grounded and you can trust yourself, you'll begin to identify those who are not that way in your life, because when you start healing, the smoke begins to clear, the smoke screen dissipates. So if you're single and you've been working on yourself and you've been doing, the shadow work and facing your demons, putting them to rest and becoming more stronger and more secure in yourself, you could be at that place in your life now where you're looking to find a relationship with someone who is pretty much in alignment or on the same page as you as far as relationally, as far as being more secure. Okay, nobody's perfect, so we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for a path to healing and progress. So finding the right partner the secure way, there's certain principles which are employed intuitively by people with a secure attachment style, and these are things that I feel like as you're making changes in your life as well, you will be able to spot smoking guns very early on and treat certain things as deal breakers. That's really important. You have to have deal breakers in your relationships, and you have to be aware of what they are. And I'm not talking about deal breakers like, you text your partner and then it takes them 5 minutes to text back. Those really shouldn't be deal breakers, because somebody could be driving. Somebody could have their phone on the nightstand and they could be in the shower, or they could be on the other line, or maybe their phone died. And I'm not saying that those should be excuses, but I think deal breakers should be more along the lines of character traits, not so much the little things that people do, because then that's nitpicking and micromanaging. And even for people who are avoidant, avoidants tend to also, they want love so much, they tend not to have deal breakers, maybe even at all. They tend to have just take whoever comes through, but then as soon as somebody comes through, then they start developing deal breakers, which are nitpicking deal breakers. Avoidance will definitely turn around and say you're too needy, or or tell someone that they're too they just look for excuses, any kind of excuse or any kind of reason to not facilitate growth in the relationship, right? So, but these are nitpicking things. These are not character traits. Integrity, loyalty, honesty, trust, these things that, or making assumptions. Yeah, these are what the deal breakers should be. Not that the toothpaste keeps getting left off the tube, or that the toilet seat keeps getting left up, or whatever. It should be like deal breakers. If somebody's lying, that's a deal breaker. How can you build with a liar? That foundation is cracked, So the secure attachment understands that the importance of effectively communicating needs from day one. Effective communication, without that is generally a relationship that's built on assumption. If people are not communicating openly and honestly, without criticism, but expressing what it is that they need from somebody, because you're allowed to do that. If somebody is not openly doing that, or two people are not able to have effective communication, which communication is not just talking. Communication is also listening. So if someone's not able to even hear what their partner is saying, then they're failing in their communication because they're not attempting to understand and ask questions and really just try to get an understanding. And it's also about not being able to speak up and say, sometimes it's the energy of like, like you could say, quote unquote, I really love you, but I don't feel like my needs are being met here. And a secure partner will respond generally with, I didn't know, and thank you for sharing this with me, and what can I do to help get your needs met? There's an understanding and respect between people. So secure people subscribe to the belief that there are many potential partners who could make them happy. They're not honed in on just one person. They're not obsessive. They don't believe that one person that they're with is the only person they will ever be with for their entire life. Okay? And that goes for the same with the twin flame thing. We talk about twin flame, and a lot of you do tend to succumb to the belief that your twin flame is a necessity, that you must be with them. No, it's not. It's an identifiable thing, but it does not mean that because this person's your twin flame, even if they are avoidant or dismissive or anxious or whatever their issue is that they have going on, or if they're abusive or things, it doesn't mean, oh, well, they're my twin flame, I have to be with them. It's a given. I just know that they are, and this person I'm meant to be with. Not necessarily. And as you go through your growth process, you become more secure. You'll be coming to a place where you'll realize, okay, I do recognize this person as someone that I do truly feel a bond with, and I do truly care for, but our relationship is not working. And so we're in separation, or it can't work because one partner is not trying to put the effort in. No matter how secure you do your shadow work, no matter how secure you become, your partner will see that you are becoming more of a safe person to be with. However, if they're not willing to participate in their own growth, you have to stop there and take a look and say, okay, well, I'm changing. I do love them, but if they're not going to participate, then what can I do? Okay, what really can you do? Secure people never take blame for a date's offensive behavior. When a partner acts inconsiderately or hurtfully, secures acknowledge that it says a lot about the other person rather than about themselves. So if a secure person is in a relationship with someone who does offensive things, like doesn't follow through, isn't consistent, a lot of different things, over calling, over texting, things that would be things that would not seem normal behavior. Secure people don't take this personally. They don't take it upon themselves and say, oh, it's because of me that this person is doing it. Secure people own their own shit. They don't own everybody else's shit. So they basically will turn around and say, okay, I see what's going on here. I feel like they're acting out of their own core. They're not acting out of anything I've said or done. Even if they may try to blame me for it, they're not taking responsibility for their actions, right? Because as we always say, it's the actions that are more important than the reason why. So, if somebody says that they haven't called you in 3 weeks because A, B, C, or D, secure people don't listen to the intentions or the reasons. Secure people look at the actions and they will say, well, okay, I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I haven't heard from you. And there really should only be 2 reasons why somebody can't pick up the phone to call you or find a way to call. And that generally comes down to either they're in a coma of sorts in the hospital, or they're deceased, It's your right, especially as a secure person, to expect to be treated well, right? To expect to be respected and to expect to be told you know, what if you're in a relationship with someone, if someone does something offensive, it's your right to say, I deserve that. But a secure person will not own it. They won't take it personally. They'll say, okay, this says a lot about who you are as a person, and that really doesn't coincide with how I choose to be in my relationships with other people. Okay? And again, secure people expect to be treated with respect, dignity, and love. And if you are not expecting that from others, then you may not be at the place yet where you are secure enough within yourself, right? And that's fine. If you are anxiously attached or you have an avoidant attachment style, these are healing things. These are things where, as you go through your relationships, your life, your past experiences, you bring yourself back up to neutral. You want to be in a neutral state. People who tell you that they enjoy the drama and the roller coaster life of relationships are not secure people. They're very insecure. And they're people who are not facing themselves and their shadows. And believe me, when you're on that roller coaster, and I know you know, you're going to get whipped off them things and smash into a wall at some point. And that's a very painful experience for those, especially for those who have never experienced that before. Now, here's the thing. When I say like secure people don't do these things, it's not basically like written in stone. As I said before, secures they're pretty grounded, but they're human, okay? So if you're secure, but you start to feel agitated, worried, or jealous, which are anxious traits, or if you find yourself thinking twice before expressing your feelings, or are becoming less trusting of or starting to play games with your partner, which are avoidant traits, it's a huge warning sign and very likely that you're with the wrong person or that you've been through a difficult experience that has shaken the core of your secure foundation. Life events such as the loss of a loved one, an illness, or a divorce can cause these shifts. So a lot of times, there can be people who come into relationships secure, and they could be with someone who has an insecure style about them, and that deteriorates the other person. There's often this quote where people say, never get into a relationship with an insecure person because it will drag you down. And there's a truth about that. People who are very insecure play a lot of manipulation games. They play a lot of games, and they do the whole jealousy thing. They do the gossip. It's very, very unhealthy. And if you find that you're identifying the person you're with as one of those insecure attachment styles, it's really important that you pay attention to that and see how you may have been blaming yourself for why your person is the way they are. Or you may be, like I said, owning it and have become very insecure in that relationship. If you're still in the relationship, remember that just because you can get along with anyone, if you're becoming secure, that doesn't mean you have to. If you're unhappy after having tried every way to make things work, chances are that you should move on. It's in your best interest to end a dysfunctional relationship rather than get stuck forever with the wrong person just because you're secure. If you've experienced loss of an attachment figure for whatever reason, remember that it wasn't your set of beliefs that were to blame, and it is well worth holding on to them. It is better to find a way to heal the wounds and maintain the hope that there are other people out there who share your need for intimacy and closeness. You can be happy again. Okay? So that's just a little bit of a caveat there to let you know, like, you know, can your insecure person become more insecure become more secure because that's you're doing your work and you're showing that in the relationship now? Yes, they can. Will they? It's the exception to the rule. You generally need to get into a position of saving yourself first, because your soul is invaluable. And people who are insecure are soul destroyers. And that's toxicity. And those, I don't care if it's your twin flame. I don't care. I do not care. I don't think there's a reader on YouTube anywhere that will ever say to you, well, this person's extremely abusive and they're probably hitting you or calling you names or playing games or making jealousy or cheating on you. Yes, they're your twin flame, and I think the love is wonderful. I've never heard a reader on here say that. So I feel like if you have that in your head that, oh, this is my person and it's meant to be, you might be anxiously attached. And go back to my anxiously attached video and listen to the things that were said in there. Try to identify where you are there on that spectrum and get that healing in. And if you're in a relationship with someone and you're not sure, and you start that process of healing, take that time to make yourself a priority. Nobody says you have to leave the relationship unless, of course, it's very seriously awful, like very, very bad. You can't, it's very difficult to heal in a war zone. Usually the first priority is to get out of the war zone, the shots being fired at you, so that you can get your healing. But some people I know are not able to, and so they need to call in a lot of extra support. So I feel like securely attached people, they call them the super mates of evolution, right? These are the super soulmates. Okay. Interesting. Maybe I'll do, if I come on Saturday, there's also something called the anxious avoidant trap, which is probably what a lot of you are in. Those who have experienced that and got out of it and don't know what the hell that was. There is a little chapter here on that, and I might just go into that. I don't think I'm going to go into that tonight, but I might just go into that probably Saturday, if not on Monday. Okay. So I know there's not that many people in here, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Hi, TJ. Hello, Joanne. Hey, Gerald. Hey, Secret Grace. Hello, Brenda. Hi, Peruse. Hi, Streamlabs. Hey, George. Hello, Shawan. Yeah, I think maybe we'll do that. I'll try to do it Saturday. If not, we'll do it for Monday. And we'll get into that. But I will encourage you all to get this book. It's called Attached by Amir Levine. And if you are on a journey of healing, I believe this could be part of your healing. If you're in some therapy, if you have a therapist and you're not talking about that, see if your therapist knows all about the attachment theory. See what your therapist thinks about that. Or if you're under some type of therapeutic care, maybe join some groups. You can join some groups on attachment theory. You can also, there's a lot of information online. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that talk about the attachment theory. And in this book, as I said in the last two Lovecasts, there's many little tests that you can take here where you can, whether your partner is with you right now or not, if your partner's with you, you can ask your partner to take the test to help them identify what their attachment style is. Or you could take the test for them, if you're not with them, to try to give you some insight on, because there is some stuff in here, if you've been in a relationship with someone, that will help you be able to assess where they are on that attachment spectrum. You can also take a test for yourself to see what your attachment style is. And it'll be helpful because it kind of gives you some clarity, because it helps you to get to know yourself better and those around you from an attachment perspective. right? So it's like a questionnaire. You can probably take some of this stuff online as well. But yeah, very interesting stuff. So I'm going to leave that there with you if you need to re-listen to the video again to get a little more information, or to be able to process better. So just to cap, anxious people are often preoccupied with their relationships and tend to worry about their partner's ability to love them back. Avoidant people equate intimacy with a loss of independence and constantly try to minimize closeness. Secure people feel comfortable with intimacy and are usually warm and loving. Okay, so that's going to be it. I will see you. Oh, TJ has a question. Cal, how possible is it to be in all three styles? I'm not with anyone, but I've picked up little things of all three. Well, if you're in all three styles of avoidant, I'd say, do you mean all three styles with one person? That in one relationship you've exhibited all three styles? I'd say that relationship was very unhealthy, because when you're secure within yourself, I'd say that the relationship that you were in was extremely toxic, because if you're secure within yourself, you really wouldn't be veering too far off center. Yeah. Like what I was saying before, a secure person can have some of these protesting behaviors or deactivating strategies, but they're usually based on some very serious things that are happening in that connection, in that relationship. Yeah. It's made you very insecure. If you've been secure and then you found yourself in all three styles, it's made you become insecure, that relationship, and you need to find a way to get back to center, or with several different ones. Then it sounds like you have it sounds like you have an anxious attachment style, TJ, because anxious attachment will be very much trying to reconnect that relationship in whatever ways. It sounds like you were anxious, and then you probably at times created distance or became avoidant as a tool to get your partner back, or punishing. If you were avoidant, you probably wouldn't be either all, unless it could go deeper. You could have a fearful attachment style. So it really depends also to which degree you've been in all three styles. I think if we're only the insecure would take traits from people that hurt us, unless you became insecure, and then you would accept those traits. Secure people are pretty sure of themselves, and as I said, they are able to separate somebody's issues from, they don't tend to own another person's issues. The way somebody else treats them, they don't tend to pick up on those behaviors. See, and I even say this in relationships with the narcissist, quote unquote. A narcissist can't do anything to you that you don't allow them to do to you. A lot of times people think the narcissist is this big bad boogeyman. The narcissist is very insecure. Okay, and insecure people cannot affect secure people unless, of course, secure people are allowing themselves. I just don't generally see secure people getting in relationships with narcissists, because I feel like secure people can spot them a mile away. You know, there's never anything to fear about getting out there and dating, and to fear you might come across, because when you become secure, it's like you're securing the fort. You know, you're fortifying the fort. You're building a moat. Secure people are they're open and they're vulnerable, but they're also secure within themselves to know when and where to do that. You know, so yeah, but I'm a ready bear till I'm mad. Yeah, I think I think that it's really important. That's right. You detach from insecurity. Yeah. You have to just be careful when you're around insecure types, because they really do play manipulative games with people. Today I think I'm actually stable, but I think I'm still fearful to a small degree. Are you in a relation? You're not with anyone right now, right? I think you said, TJ. Did you say that? I have to say, like, the easiest thing to do is learn to be secure when you're not in a relationship. But it's when you're in a relationship with someone who's insecure, that's a tough battle. Yeah. I always encourage you to get back into the field, to not avoid it, is what I mean. I'm not talking about the rate and speed with which you should start dating again, but I don't think you should avoid relationships, okay? Because, that's too overprotective of yourself, right? You're never really going to know your progress and how much you've changed and how much growth you've had if you avoid feedback. And relationships are all about feedback. People are always going to reflect back to us who we are, what we do, what we think. And relationships with people are our greatest tool for learning. They help us gauge us in, where we are in our growth. And we should always be growing. There should never be a time where, okay, I've arrived, I don't need to do it anymore, and now we're going to live happily ever after. There's always something to learn. Yeah. Manipulation is a huge deal breaker for me. Oh, manipulation, yeah. I mean, it's funny because I once heard someone say, and I agree with this, manipulation in itself is not bad. It depends on the intention of the manipulation. So, for example, when you get up in the morning, you brush your hair, if you have hair. So you brush your hair. So you're using a tool to manipulate your hair to a particular way so you look better, right? Or so you look, for whatever your reason. That's not a negative. Manipulation, very much the same as manifestation. Manifesting things, manipulating things to go your way in your life in a positive direction, not a bad thing. Manipulation, being used as a tool or a tactic against another human being, trying to manifest a person in particular into your life, that's a negative manipulation. And that right there, that's where the old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it, Hey, Authentic, how are you? It should never happen anyway. Yeah, I found that to be really interesting. Yeah. It's just like the magician in the upright versus the magician in the reverse. The magician in the upright, it's like a magician up there on the stage. He's he's manipulating everyone with tricks to make them laugh, to get a reaction out of them. But it's a positive thing. He's not trying to hurt anybody. But like a magician in the reverse is someone who is secretive and cunning and is intentionally doing something to harm others. Emotional blackmail. Oh, yeah. That's a tactic of an insecure person. 100%. Identify, is that person an avoidant? Do they have an avoidant attachment style, or do they have an anxious attachment style? And if you're able to even see that, if you're able to call emotional blackmail out right away, that means that you do have a secure attachment style. You're able to see it and not be a part of it. You're able to observe from the outside, not be a part of it. And you're able to identify for yourself, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, this person's trying to blackmail me with emotional. It's when you give in some way. Secure people are it's like they're detached, but they're not. They're just neutral. They're like, they have an inner circle. Secure people have an inner circle, and they only let the people into their inner circle, their inner world, that they feel they can trust, that they know that this is a secure person coming in. Most of the time, people have their doors wide open, and anxious and avoidance tend to have, avoidance generally have their doors sealed shut, and anxious tend to have their doors wide open. But when somebody comes into the anxious person's house, the anxious will do everything they can to keep that person from leaving the house, whereas the avoidant will have their doors shut and may open it a crack and let you in, but it's going to be really difficult to get in because they basically want to keep people out as much as it can. Yeah. Was avoiding, and I try to leave, and they chase. Yeah, you want to get to a neutral place, within self. And if you find yourself in avoidance, you find yourself avoiding someone who could be anxious, because like I said, avoidance and anxious they tend to get involved more often than not. And if you find yourself avoiding someone who is chasing to the point where they are smothering, avoiding is not the way to handle that situation. The way they handle that situation is the way a secure person would. And a secure person would say, I see what you're doing. Secure people, the book said that they don't have boundaries, and I think what that means is they don't have conditions. Secure people will say, okay, you're chasing me, but they don't give in to any kind of guilt or anything like that. Yeah, I've been told that I scare them. Well, if you're secure, to an anxious or an avoidant, secure people are scary to them. Anxious people are used to chasing the avoidance, and avoidance need to have the anxious chasing them. There's a dance that gets played that they each take turns. Secure people to insecure people are scary. They're not used to that. They feel intimidated sometimes, or they feel like they'll tend to look at them and say, oh, you think you're perfect. Secure people get a lot of flack for being boring people. They get a lot of they get abused a lot. It's a shame because they're just secure people. They're not out to hurt people. They just live and let live, and they enjoy their life, and they're happy, and they love. I don't have a circle. I'm a loner, always have been too. If you are, I think secure people, I wonder if secure people, I don't think secure people are always loners, are they? They could be. I think that they maybe they just have their inner circle. I don't necessarily feel like they're loners, so to speak, the majority of them. They have certain select people that they trust, that they try to keep in their life, because they just, they know that those are their people. You just know who your soul tribe is. You can just tell. I'm far from perfect and am direct. That's good. That's good. So, not me, but I enjoy being alone or in a group. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like Black Hawk. You can take it or leave it. You enjoy your time with yourself, and you also enjoy time with other people. I find that to be very secure behavior. Yeah, a little bit of time with people and a little bit of time with self. I feel like it's really nice, balanced. It's good. it's positive. Yeah, you got to have a soul tribe. Definitely. And then like the whole idea of like everyone in the world should be your friend. I don't subscribe to that belief because I don't see how it's even possible how every single person in the world are all the same. We are not. We all have differing viewpoints. We come from different backgrounds. I think you should be open and accepting of people and respectful, but I don't think everyone needs to be in your inner circle. I think because you have certain needs that you have to have met in your life, and who you are as a person, it's okay to have. There's many layers to you. There's your inner circle layer, and then there's your then there's your sphere of influence, and then there's people outside of that layer that you are more acquaintance types. So it's interesting. Vlad, hey, thanks for your time. Got the book and listening to it at work. It's a bit of a mirror, to be honest. Yeah, it is. Because you'll identify, I'm sure, as you are, with one of those attachment styles, and it's all good. Yeah, because you notice at the back of the book, there's how to help you become more secure, and it's lovely. It's so liberating if you have an avoidant attachment style or an anxious attachment style. It's so liberating to trust yourself. When you get to the place where you are able to say, I really like myself, and I trust myself fully. And if things don't work out with somebody, I'm okay with that. It's kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? I'm okay with it. And I know there's somebody else that's out there for me, that I will be, that I'll come into alignment to. So there's this trusting in the universe. There's this feel good. There's this lack of worry if you're anxious. And if you're avoidant, there's also this liberation where avoidant attachment style, you can come to this place where, I can trust people. There are certain people I can open up. I don't have to be afraid. I can take that chance. And there are people who will receive me and they will accept me, flaws and all. So, oh good, unfinished sentence. I recall you from before. What's up? Yeah, it's good. I hope that you guys are able to read that thoroughly and really put into practice some of the tips and tricks wherever you identify there on that spectrum of attachment styles. Yeah, the more secure you become, I can tell you, most of the time you will attract secure people, and you won't have a roller coaster, crazy highs and lows relationship. You will have passion, you will have intimacy, you will have fun, you will have disagreements, but there won't be this intensity to a relationship where you feel like the ground is going to be breaking under your feet, or that you're going to be in that relationship and yet feel all alone because you sabotaged the relationship. You will have all the wonderful things that you want. You won't be, I know some people, they want that crazy. Some people, and I say this all the time, especially with guys. Guys love the crazy until they get into a relationship with them. And then they're like, wait. I said I liked you crazy, but I didn't mean I like this all the time, and it's actually true for the women too. The women go for the bad boys. The women tend, some women tend to go for that because they like that challenge, they like that crazy, until they fall in love with that person. And then that person's manipulating and playing games. And then it's like, whoa. Everybody really wants that one person in their life where they can have that, that beautiful connection. Oh, we have an avoidant in the house. Awesome. So hopefully, did you listen unfinished to the avoidant podcast that I did on Monday? And so the one thing that I said with the anxious attachment and the avoidant attachment styles, you can't look at just one thing. You have to have almost all of those quote unquote symptoms in order to identify. Right? And each of those symptoms could have a different layer of intensity to it, So like, I feel like in the avoidant or the anxiously attached was deemed as playing games. right? But the purpose of the games is to reestablish connection with their partner, you know. But that there are people that play games, of course, that don't have all of these severe things. You really have to look at the whole picture. Empress says, hi Heather, I was in toxic connection. It was horrible. Thank you for this. It hits on all levels. I'm anxious, secure, but working on becoming secure me again. Anxious, insecure, but working on becoming secure me again. That's awesome. I love to hear that. How important. Yeah, and that's right, sentence. It's usually from childhood trauma, and then it bleeds into relationships, into adult relationships, you know. It's a good clue to take a look at what attachment styles your parents had, or your caregivers who were raising you. What were their attachment style? You could have had one parent that was anxiously attached and the other was avoidant. And you often hear people talk about, like, their mother was doting and she was invasive and she was controlling, and she played games, or she was manipulative. That would be like an anxious attachment. Your father could have been very avoidant. Father was at work all the time, wasn't emotionally available. Okay. And so it goes much more deeper than that. In one way or another, your relationship is playing out in one of those two ways, right? Yeah, I think the general consensus, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's generally the men who would be considered, or the masculines would be considered avoidant generally, and the feminines would be considered more anxious. I think that's in this book. I'm not sure if they did a study. But but again, it also gets into, as I said before, you know, if you have an avoidant father and an anxious mother, that's the evidence right there that the avoidance and the anxious tend to find each other, and they tend to do that dance, and that dance can last for years and years. Communication is very key. Have to be able to understand each other without criticism. Absolutely, you know. And you know, if you're an anxious attached. If you have anxiously attached to an avoidant, there probably will be times where the anxious attached would be very critical of the avoidant, because the avoidant will avoid and they're not getting their needs met. Anxiously attached tend to become very angry, you know, and they become frustrated because they're doing everything they can to make the relationship work. And the avoidant is popping in and saying, yes, I want it to work, but then is, you know, disappearing again. The dance is not, it's not a happy dance. It's not comfortable. It's not progressive. It's two people on the dance floor who are taking turns and they're stepping on each other's toes the whole time. It's very unhealthy and can be very toxic. In order to have a beautiful dance, they both have to be in alignment with each other. They both have to understand, communicate physically, mentally, emotionally, you know. So for that dance to be beautiful, they have to be in sync. I would say an avoidant, anxious attached dance looks more like a fist fight in a boxing match. Yeah, they're dancing, but they're swinging at each other. Emotional blackmail. Had it done to me. I left his group. He went to Facebook storyline, showed me exactly who it is. He rubbed it in my face. I was in his face. Friends list. I shut the door. Sorry to hear that, Heather. Yeah, when you feel like the question I think that you just have to ask yourself at the end of the day is not even, am I getting my needs met? But even before that, what are my needs? It's really hard to identify if you're getting what you want when you're not 100% sure what it is you need. And sometimes with the insecure, sometimes you don't even know if you deserve to get your needs met. You may not, at times, if you're insecure, feel that you're even worthy of love. But once you begin to believe that you are, because that's all just a belief, really, and then you make your decision to accept that belief, then you have to ask yourself, what do I need in order to be a good partner? What do I need to do? Who do I need to be? And what do I need to have a good partner be reciprocal with me? And then once you identify what your needs are, what you need from your person, what do you need from your person? What do you need? You know, or just in a relationship in general. And once you identify what it is you need, then you got to ask yourself, if you're in a relationship with someone, are these needs being met? And you shouldn't have to compromise on your needs ever, because these are generally character-based things. If you treat somebody well, with respect and honesty and truth, loyalty and love, and you're not getting the same in return, and we're not talking about, I need somebody to make $50,000 a day. I need them to drive a particular car. They got to look a certain way. These are very superficial, insecure, shallow things. These are preferences. And trust me, your preferences will change as you get older, as you age in life. We're talking about character things. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I don't hear many people really complaining that I dumped my partner because they were $1 short of making the amount that I needed them to make. Usually I get the questions like, why are they cheating on me? Or this person's lying, or they're manipulating, or like you guys said, emotional blackmail. These are big things. And fighting over the wrong things, which are 5 minutes late texting. This is micromanaging. This is these little things. If these are what's really important to you in a relationship, then I feel like you would be extremely disappointed. I really feel like you would be. Oh, good, Joanne. I'm so happy to hear that. Good. Yeah, definitely purchase that book and read up. There's lots of stuff. You can get it for free on YouTube, of course. You tell us when you're back again for the weekend. You mean doing the Lovecast, TJ? If so, I was planning to come back Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time. But I'm not sure on that quite yet because I may have plans. But I definitely wanted to be able to get in the 3 Lovecasts. So I will put up the upcoming live stream as long as you are subscribed to the channel and you've hit the alert. You'll see the upcoming next live stream. And then you'll know right there. I became an avoidance in my last relationship, but I knew what was happening and knew why. I just want peace. I should have taken the cues. She'd constantly wake up from nightmares of burying things. Love can make you blind to the flags. Yeah, I guess it could. I don't think love really makes you blind. I think that, because I know that you can love someone even when they have their red flags. And I know that you can do that. You can detach with love to people, I don't think it's love that makes us blind. I feel like it's fear. Fear makes us blind to the red flags. It's my personal opinion. I don't think love does that. I think we call it love because we don't know what else to call it, but I think fear makes us blind, because fear says we have to stay blind because we don't want to face the fact that this might not work out, or this might not be the person, or there's a level of guilt that we must love people when they hurt us, Oh, did you say burying things or buying things? Oh, I have nightmares, but not about buying. Okay, I'm so confused. So Joanne, if Saturdays, if I do it this Saturday, it would be noon, yeah, Eastern Standard Time. But I'm weary on giving up my weekends, because I do give up my Sundays for the members. So I'll probably wind up just doing the podcast 3 days a week. To be honest with you, I put Saturday just to try to get more engagement with everyone, but I probably will just do the 3 days now that I'm thinking about it, because it's a lot of topics to come up with 3 days a week. But I want you guys to know I am going to start also dedicating some of the Lovecast time to doing the Chinese signs as well, and to going into a bit of detail with the Chinese signs. So that's something to look forward to. So a lot of stuff to share with you guys. We'll talk about tarot. I'm even going to have some guests on going forward to participate in the Lovecast. I may even be getting somebody who will be joining in on the Lovecast. I'm just waiting to see how that's going to work out. But yeah, as well as doing the daily tarot readings as well. I've loved and walked away. Yeah, sometimes you have to. Like I said here in this part of this book here, you know, even if you're doing your best and you're as secure as you can be, if the other person is not participating in that walk with you, you can love them, but you may have to call it quits, because you need relationship. A partnership requires two people to keep the ship afloat. If not, if you got one person who's keeping the ship afloat, the other person's just going for the ride if they're in the boat with you. And that's disrespectful. Somebody's taking a ride at your expense. And you can love them, but you got to leave. I think that's good 3 times a week for right now. Yeah, I think so too. All right, you guys, so I'm going to end the stream and get on with my evening. And I don't know that I might be on later tonight, I'm not sure. But I really need a break this weekend. I'll definitely be here Sunday. And I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to go ahead and get that book and get to work on your healing so that you are ready to start your life in a more positive, healthy, loving way. Loving with yourself. Loving yourself, and hopefully connecting with someone who wants to share in that beautiful journey, that love journey with